Giving all glory and all praises to the Most High Yah by saying Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Welcome to Sether Leon. Hallelujah. Today's first podcast is Marriage and Relationships, episode 27. And of course, we have our host here, which is our elder, and Moray, and one of my teachers, Moray Yemuel Ben Yisrael. Hallelujah. Praise the mighty Yah. How you feeling today?
Hallelujah. Well, to be honest, and we're always going to have to be honest,
Yeah.
I've had better days, but I'm able to stand vertical.
Okay.
I still have the breath of life, and I can still call on the name of the Most High Yah. So I'd have to say overall, I'm doing just great.
Hey.
Hallelujah. I have to say I'm doing just great.
Hey.
Because
I like that you threw that in. That's why I say he my teacher, man.
Yeah.
He just told me, listen.
I got the first blessing of the day. How can I be upset?
We can still call on y'all.
There you go.
And then, you know what I mean? So
there you go.
Yeah.
Listen, so of course, this topic is always about relationships and hopefully those relationships that will lead to a marriage if, in fact, those couples are not already married. But I want to give us something to really consider and think about deeply today. And we've had different segments where we talked about some of this and some of that. But today I want to ask the question. Matter of fact, did you get your Facebook family in on this here?
Oh, I'm
get
sure
all that crowd in?
Live on Facebook.
There you go.
Share the link.
There you go. Here's my question. In this time and age, why would a man choose to get married? That's a deep question, especially in today's relationship market. It seems like everything is transactional. People are faking. People tend to see what they can get out of somebody before that somebody gets something up out of them. It's not the traditional sense of marriage. You see, now, again, that question is, why would a man make that choice to get married in these times? Now, let me say this. When a man gets married, he's getting married for these reasons right here. These are most important. This man is getting married for love, for nurturing, for support, and for respect and intimacy.
Okay.
And in some cases, most cases, I might say, for children to come about and to have a good mother, not just any kind of mother, a good mother. There's going to be teaching their daughter, should they have a daughter, how to become a wife. But she has to teach by example. Now, you see, when I just said everything that I just said, everybody's not going to meet that criteria. Because again, I stated, every man is not marriage material, and every woman is not, in fact, marriage material. So let's talk about this for a minute. Now, I said, this culture, in today's time, this culture teaches a man, how can I put this? Because I want to be really clear to make sure that the men and the women understand. This culture teaches the man with the way things are right now not to get married.
Yeah.
See, I had to take my time and just put it that way. Again, I said, this culture teaches a man with the way things are today not to get married.
Treat them like hoes.
Because, see, in the beginning of a relationship, remember I said those things that he's looking for that love. He's looking for that nurturing. He's looking for that support and that respect. He's looking for that intimacy. And guess what? In the beginning stages, he gets it in most cases. But as that relationship goes on, sometimes that woman starts to notice his flaws. Or she's already noticed it, but she was dealing with it. But as time goes on in the relationship, then it becomes an issue. Keep in mind, that most women, matter of fact, I say the majority of women, whether they are married or not, they're always going to have men in their face. There's always going to be men, for the most part, that's trying to either flirt with them or have different conversations with them. But those that are married, it's up to them to make sure that those men know, ain't nothing happening. You see? But in this climate today, with the way things are, this climate would dictate to a man, no. See, men, we can work and provide for ourselves, right? It's easy for us to take care of ourselves. And sad to say, even though this is a violation of the Almighty's law, a man can go out and get sex from just about anywhere because these women are pretty much giving it away. Okay. You see what I'm saying? But if a man truly wants to be married, again, I said he wants to be married for a reason. And if he's a traditional man, then he's most likely looking for a woman that's going to be compatible with him. And that means finding a traditional woman. Now, it's easy to fake some things in the beginning, right? For those who want to fake, but I suggest that we all never send a representative. We have to be true. We have to be genuine. We have to represent the Most High Yah, right? These are the things that a woman should lead with. Those very things that I just indicated. She should lead with wanting to love a man and have a man love her. She should lead with being affectionate because it's genuine and want to receive that affection back in return, right? She should definitely want to be his support. She should definitely want to respect this man. After all, he's going to be doing for her things that a boyfriend just ought not be doing. He's going to be doing things for her that in some cases she's not in a position to do for herself. Right? So let's talk about some of those things for a minute. I just indicated, King, that a man is looking for love, some nurturing. And matter of fact, when those children come about, not only nurture the relationship, not only nurture the man, but nurture those children as well, right? Support. Back me on what I do, because the bottom line is my resources are going to benefit you as my wife anyway, right? And most of all, respect. Because I've said a woman can say she loves you, but disrespect the hell out of you. But a person that's respected, you always want them to see the best version of you. So give me some feedback on what I just said. Then we're going to get into this thing. And then we open up to the internet, because I want some comments and I want them to speak on it as well.
Yeah, in terms of what you said about society, more so telling men not to get married, I see that a lot, and honestly, to be honest, with the way things are going, I would have in some ways advised the same thing. But I would also advise one to maybe seek marriage outside of this society. I'm always going to be an advocate of marriage because I believe in the laws of the Creator. I do not support what our people, the culture that we have, presented to ourselves and created here in America, and in terms of how we treat our women. I don't believe that's the right way to treat our women. I believe our women should be held up to the highest standard. I believe that dowry should be re-implemented before marriage.
Elaborate on that a little bit. I would say elaborate on that, and the reason I actually elaborate, because in a lot of cases today, the father, unfortunately, is not in the picture. Right. When we're talking about a dowry, that father should he should be in the picture. Right. But for whatever reason, in a lot of those cases, because like I said, in this country today, we actually have more baby mamas and baby daddies than we do have husbands and wives. So
Absolutely.
speak on it.
Yeah, and it's because this fourth beast, they done, aka the Roman Empire and their descendants, they have cast away the ways of the ancient way of doing things. So, back in ancient times, even among European nations, nations that were typically civilized, they had something called a dowry, which was, and I'm gonna just pull a definition up, is property or money to brought by a bride to her husband on their marriage, but reverse that, the money or property was given to the father of that said person, of that said woman, right? So if a man wanted to approach, a beautiful woman, he would have to go to the house of who that woman belonged, which was her father, and right then and there, the creator have given them the divine authority, whether they can accept this person or decline this person. So when you approach this woman off rip, you already know you're going to have some form of dowry, some form of payment. And during the times of the scriptures, that happened to be 50 shekels of silver, right? I think this teaches men to understand that women are an asset, right? Women at their best state are an asset, right?
At their best state.
At their best state is an asset, right? And just going on, like, just we can put that on both sides. It's just, whoever the Almighty told us to be prosperous when He created us, be prosperous, be fruitful, multiply, and replenish the earth. You're not going to be able to do that if you're walking beside somebody that is not diligent. You know what I'm saying? Solomon said, "Don't send the sluggard." The sluggard, you sending the sluggard is like, it's like vinegar to the teeth and smoke to the eyes. So we don't want sluggards in relationships. We want everybody to understand their role, understand the vision, and why we're here. So, the dowry was it was for more so the man to understand that this woman that this woman that you want is to be purchased, number one, right? This is property of said father. And that this woman, if you want to purchase this woman, you need to understand that, hey, understand the value of what you're buying. Nowadays, we have a culture where people are hooking up, sleeping around, and we never take time to really get to know if this person is actually going to be a true asset to you. So I think, it causes men to think twice before, seeking a relationship, right? Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times I feel like just men in general, we don't have the things in place like we should because of the culture, you know what I'm saying, that we currently have, and it's and of course, our enemies also have a hand in it by, giving our women certain benefits and certain rights, and you know what I'm saying, that will give them the ability to usurp the man's authority. Right. That doesn't make anything any better. So I'm excited for this conversation today. Praise the Mighty Yah.
Yeah, it's unfortunate in these times that things they're not what they should be.
Right.
And unfortunately also, like I stated, that, and I would have to say honestly, in most cases in today's time, the woman's father is not there. He's not available when the selection is actually made on who his daughter is actually going to be with. And then I have to say this too. In today's time, when a man is, in a lot of cases, when a man is seeking after a certain woman, in a lot of cases, this woman is allowing her friends to help her decide if this man is good enough to be with her. In other words, this man is going to be scrutinized by different outside entities that he's not even interested in. And she's going to go by, in a lot of cases, by what her friends think. If this man measured up, or if he doesn't measure up. And if he's going to be a potential boyfriend or a potential husband, and something is really serious, you know what I'm saying? Getting the opportunity to meet this woman and just deal with her and her alone to get to know one another. In most cases, she's going to involve her friends. Girl, what you think? Well, he got this, he got that, but he don't have this, he don't have that. He kind of short, but he nice. But do you think I should have somebody talk? All these different things that go across a woman. If you have somebody that's going to treat you right, are you going to disqualify this man because, as some people might say, his legs aren't long enough? But this woman might not have that figure that this man wants. You see what I'm saying? But she might have the personality. So he's not gonna take her out the runnings because she's got that right personality.
Right.
But she'll take him, or she'll allow her friend to persuade her, no, he's not good enough for you. He only makes this amount of money, but you said you want the man who make at least this much.
Yeah, I think with that it's that you know, and we talked about this before. Like most women already make themselves known. You know what I mean? They let you know who they are off top. You know, so when you get to hear women talking like that off top, you know that's a woman you don't even want to deal with. Talking about a man's legs ain't long enough. You know what I'm saying? That ain't even a woman you want to deal with. So
You know, a woman's reality is based on her emotions at that moment. Think about what I'm saying. Because most women, and women, if you're listening right now, let me know. Say something in the chat if you know I'm being honest. Most women are led by their emotions. In other words, they can make a permanent decision or a serious decision based on the way they feel at that particular time, knowing that in the long run, it would have worked out better for her. But based on the way she feels, she can actually destroy a relationship. This means that your relationship can be dissolved at the drop of a hat, so to speak, because she was feeling a certain way. I tell you, I gave you an example some time ago. Say a woman can go to the store because, you know, they love to shop. You go to the store and see a pair of shoes, a shirt, a jacket, pair of pants, or something that they like, a coat, something that they like. So when they saw it, they loved it. They had to have it. But by the time they got it home or a day later or two or something, they looking at it again. No, they want to take it back because they're not as excited about it anymore. And that's the same way that a lot are when it comes to relationships. So a man is up against a lot because we have to keep in mind that even biologically, we're made different. The way we think, men and women think different. Our whole makeup is completely different. The man is supposed to be the masculine one, which would be more dominant, and the female is the feminine one that should boast in femininity. But it's just the opposite today. It's very rare to find a feminine woman, especially in these Western countries. Here in the United States, from what I see, most of the women that I see, and it's an honest statement, tend to have a lot more masculine traits than feminine traits. And like we said before, and it's a true fact, a woman's value is based on her virginity and her femininity. You see, it's just a lot. So when men are looking for a wife, we have to be diligent. We have to be circumspect. We have to know what we want. And I have to say this to the men. Don't be fooled by her beauty. It's okay to have a beautiful woman, right? But even myself, I said, I'd rather have just an average woman. That way I don't have to worry about people trying to knock her over to get to her because they say, oh, she's so beautiful, she's so fine. And that just helps to build up a woman's ego, so to speak. And once that ego is built up, she's going to start to get haughty, thinking she can always do better because she believes she got a flock of men that's always at her disposal.
Right.
You see, so that won't make for a good relationship. A woman that's beautiful, she must have, in order to qualify in my book, she must have a great character. Character means a lot. What you think about that?
I totally agree. second to none. King Solomon in the book of Proverbs said that the fear of Yah is the beginning of wisdom, but the fear of Yah is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and instruction. So the fear of Yah is our foundation, right? The fear of Yah is character. Is how do we act when nobody is around, right? And typically most people are gonna goof off, right, if not held to the correct standard. But to have character is to be the same person consistently, whether people are watching you or not. That's to have character. That's to have true character. So I think character is highly important. Highly important. Yeah, it's highly important.
So since we're talking about character, I'm gonna make a statement and tell me what you think about this, because this is a factual statement that a lot, matter of fact, I would have to say nearly the vast majority of women say in this country, think about what I'm getting ready to say here. The vast majority of this woman in this country, their loyalty comes based on what you can provide. Once those provisions are shrunken and they're not the same as they used to be, then that loyalty, as you want to call it, saying again, they don't understand what real loyalty is. And we're going to have to go to that definition again, because a lot of times people think being loyal just means I'm not going to cheat on you. Well, it means so much more. But in other words, that marriage, or in a lot of cases, that so-called boyfriend, girlfriend type situation that the Most High don't condone, it's based on what a man can provide. In a lot of cases, like I say, when he's not able to provide, she disappears. She's only loyal to the benefits, those benefits that she can get from that relationship. That's why I always advise a man never to lead with your wallet. Say if you're interested in a woman, if you go pick her up on a date or something that first time, if you got a couple of different cars, don't take your best car. If you just got a little slider, or you got just a regular average car, take that average car. See how she's going to respond. You see, if she can ride with you in that car and not be a big problem, then you can introduce her to the nicer vehicle. Talk on it.
Yeah, most men make the mistake of leading with their wallet, leading with their resources. When you do that, you pedestalize them. And you're putting them above the mission. You're putting them above what the Creator designed you to do. When a woman when a woman truly loves you, my brother said, y'all got some virgin wives y'all can give me. Maybe someday in the future, man, when we get to that level again, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, when we get to that level.
Right, yeah, we got to get to that level again. We ain't quite there yet, man.
That was a good question, though.
But Yahweh can he can give you whatever you desire, you know. But what was I saying? I was saying something that made me lose my train of thought. What was you just saying?
That kind of took me off.
Yeah, I forgot. Yeah. I was about to make a point, man. Golly.
We got to stay focused.
Shalom to Yashabam. He said, is watching porn a sin according to scriptures?
I can't remember seeing anything in the scriptures about watching porn, but I can say that if we want to be moral, if we want to be just and right, me personally, I don't watch porn. It definitely wouldn't be a benefit to me. And a lot of times, some of those so-called porn stars are married women. You see what I'm saying? And a lot of times it's done behind that man's back. Just like in today's time, you have what's this stuff they got where the woman got these accounts? What's this called again? Where they getting up there and they doing all those things and got partners. I'm having a brain fart here. What's this thing that a lot of these?
Sister wives.
No. Where you pay $4.99 or something like that a month to watch them on the OnlyFans. That's what I'm thinking. I couldn't even think of it. A lot of people that do OnlyFans or actually even in relationships to where they have so-called boyfriends and in some cases husbands. So when you're getting off into porn, now I'm not going to say that I've never watched porn, but that's been like long, many years ago, But like I said, when you learn better, you do better. And when you have someone in your life, when you have a mate, when you have a wife, you shouldn't have, I mean, if the situation is ideal as it should be, as prescribed by the Most High Yah, you should actually have no desire to want to watch porn. All your fantasies and desires should be fulfilled by the one that you have.
Yeah.
It's actually supposed to belong to you. Now, I know a lot of women don't like that expression, but when a man takes a wife, she belongs to him. You see, and a lot of women have an issue with that, even in today's time. Even a lot of so-called women who call themselves traditional women. And again, when I say traditional, I'm always talking about the tradition that was passed down by way of the Most High Yah's law. But no, if someone's going to watch porn, I'm not going to worry about what they do. I would advise them to try to find their own woman. But again, in seeking a woman, just know that you're seeking for a wife, not seeking to find a girlfriend. I know some people who are even invested in the law. They say they're invested in the Most High Yah's law, but they have girlfriends and have had girlfriends for a very long time. And we know better. We should do better, because the bottom line is, if we truly want the blessings, of the Most High, then we have to walk with him and not walk contrary to him. Like in Amos, the 3rd chapter, that 3rd verse, it reads, "Can two walk together unless they be agreed?"
Exactly.
Can we walk with the Most High? If I'm going this way, but you're coming this way, are we walking together?
No.
We can only be walking together when we're going in the same direction.
Absolutely.
And so we have to be mindful of that. A question was asked yesterday, how can we get right as a people? What do we need to do? And that's a simple answer. Follow the Most High's laws, his statutes, his judgments, his commandments. That is simple as that. See, a lot of times we mess up, and we mess up on purpose. Like what we were just now discussing, when we have people that are going contrary to the Most High Yah's ways. You know, we have to take a chance. If we think we're with the right woman, we have to take that chance and go ahead and get married, because here's what a perfect marriage is. You know, there's such thing as a perfect marriage.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you what a perfect marriage is. A perfect marriage is two imperfect people that's not willing to give up on one another. In other words, I'm riding with you till the wheels fall off. That's a perfect marriage, because they know there's going to be some hiccups in the road. There's going to be some ups and downs. Hell, you're going to have some ups and downs just in a friendship. It can be best friends. Everything can go all way. They're going to have a clash at one point or another, but because they're best friends, they're going to iron that out. You see what I'm saying? They're going to iron that out like it ain't nothing.
Easy.
If they're true friends, you see what I'm saying? They're going to fix that. So when you have a woman who's committed and you have a man who's committed to that relationship, and each of them say, I ain't going nowhere. Whatever we go through, we going through together. That's just like if you had a nice home, but you lose your home. And then you have to flee from your home. And the only thing this man could go get, he can find a tent to make sure you stay dry. You see what I'm saying? He can go get some type of portable heaters that might even run on batteries or whatever to keep you warm if it's a little cooler. If that woman is loyal, meaning, and I'm going to want you to pull that definition up again. If that woman is loyal to that man and that man is loyal to that woman, she ain't going to mind being in that tent with him as long as they together and they working things out together, that they building together. That's what I said, even in a marriage. That perfect marriage is two imperfect people not willing to give up on one another. You know, and I had to think about that because I actually bought a sign that actually says that, and I had to give it a lot of consideration. Because the Almighty said, and believe the book of Ecclesiastes, I could be wrong, that he don't want you going back on your word. And a lot of time when people get married, they don't realize you don't have to take a vow. But those who make a vow, the Almighty said, don't make a vow and then take it back. He said he don't want to hear that it was a mistake. Because you go talking about it was a mistake. He said it destroyed the works of your hands. And the works of your hands could be anything that you're trying to do. So we have to be mindful. We have to be mindful, man. This world is not what it used to be, and it's getting wickeder and wickeder by the day. We have to decide if we're going to stand on the right side of righteousness, or if we're going to stand on the opposite side of righteousness, which is going to be just being wicked people doing whatever it is that we want to do. But if we want the Almighty to bless us to have a good mate, then it's going to be advisable that both parties that want to be involved in that relationship be on the right side of the Most High Yah and have good intentions for one another. Not one just trying to use the other, that they have genuine interest in one another and they want to be with one another. That she don't have a problem being with this man and he be the leader and she follow his lead. She being on his page. But of course, now, if she gonna say she will be this man's wife, she need to check and make sure that he's the type of man that she's going to follow. Because when there's not a good match, then there's going to be some controversy in that relationship.
Yeah, I think the communication style is going to be key. You know, when you're choosing a person, you have to really pick a person that has a communication style that you prefer. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody's communication style is different. So yeah, praise the Maria.
You know, in a lot of cases, men, I'm sure all over in this country. And if you've ever went through this and you're listening to this podcast right now, I want you to put it in the chat, even if she's watching, right? And if you're the female watching this and you've done this to your boyfriend, if you have a boyfriend or your husband, just be honest, because this is about promoting the Most High's word so that we can promote healthy relationships, like I say, that will lead to a productive marriage if in fact you're not already married. And if you're already married, a way that we can help build those marriages up even more. Now, a woman, I'm getting ready to make a bold statement here, and it's going to be a factual statement. Let's see how many women are going to agree with me. A lot of times when things are going not necessarily the way that the woman wanted to go in the relationship, whether they're married, boyfriend, or girlfriend, she'll use her silence as a weapon. In other words, she will stay quiet. She won't say a word. She'll use that. And any man who's been in a relationship when things are going all good and he notices that she didn't get her way about this, or there was some type of discrepancy, and then all of a sudden she just goes quiet. She's not going to say anything. You might be trying to get her to talk. You might speak to her and she just ignore, act like she ain't heard you. And this can go on for a while. This can go on for like a day, some days, even enter into a week or whatnot, because a woman is trying to get you to break because she's upset because it's a lot of cases she didn't get her way, or you did something that she didn't like, or it's some reason why she would do that. But here's the kicker. She uses it as a punishment, especially when she knows that that man is greatly invested in her, that he really loves her and wants her. And that's one of the things that she will use. Speak on it.
Yeah.
And I want you guys to speak on it too. Talk on it. Type something in.
Yeah, praise the Maria. Oftentimes, you know, we in relationships, we search for things that we should be giving to ourselves in many ways. You have to first learn to love yourself before you get into a relationship. Now, I can relate to what you said because, you know, I've been through something similar. But what I had to realize was I had realized that, first of all, that the person that was doing that, right, was doing something similar, not exactly that, but would do something similar. the person that's doing that may not realize the harm that they're doing to the person, especially if that person, like you said, really loves them and care about them, right? So they don't always realize that, right? But see, we as who's ever, whatever the position is, right, whether it be man or woman that's doing something like that, what we have to realize is that we should never allow people to have control over the way we feel. We should never give people that type of authority, right? And definitely not in relationships, because things like that can turn dangerous. You know what I'm saying? Especially when you really love a person. Now, I got scars to this day from relationships.
I think we all.
Yeah, no, I got not mental. I'm talking about I got real scars, physical scars from relationships. Right, I got physical. I know how love can go. You know what I'm saying? But we should never allow anybody to have that much control over us. You know, we have to realize that relationships are very simple. It's a very simple thing, but it's been distorted because people's emotions, you know what I'm saying, oftentimes becomes the governing agent in a relationship. And the minute emotions really start to govern the relationship, you in chaos. And we can't use our emotions. We can't use love to justify our emotions, because being out of order is being out of order. You know what I'm saying? So what I had realized from that situation when I went through that with the person who I really loved, you know what I'm saying? I probably love that person more than they love me, actually. You know what I'm saying? And I'm man enough to say it because I done been through it, right? And I think many people have been through situations like that. But what I had to realize was that I should never, ever allow anybody to have that much emotional control over me. The minute I give somebody that power, they're going to use it against me. You know what I'm saying? So that's a very, I had to realize I was in an unhealthy relationship with somebody I loved. You know what I'm saying? And to this day, somebody said physical scars. Oh, hell nah, that impounded issue. It ain't always that simple, bro. Trust me. It ain't always that simple. But I feel you. You stupid.
Like I said, a lot of women, a majority of women, they will use their silence as a weapon to have that man on edge. And he'll be wondering about the stability of that relationship, because they do it often. Because what I said, they'll weaponize being silent. You see what I'm saying? They will not communicate on purpose, and it literally is supposed to be, women type in now, do that. And if you're a man and you've experienced that, and I'm sure you have if you've been in a relationship, they literally use it as a way of trying to get you in line. And I'm going to talk about a woman's sexuality too, because they also do that, like withholding sex. You see, and I'm talking about in relationships, it's to be a form of a punishment because a man didn't do something in a lot of cases that they wanted done. You see, to try to get this man in line. And they really do it the most when they know that this man is really into him. And you made a statement that you think that you love harder than women. Well, it's a fact, especially in today's time, that men love harder, and women know that. That's the reason they're able to use their silence, and that's the reason they're able to use their sexuality.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Because they know how men are. And men are simple. Men are simple in relationships. And I'm just going to be blunt. Feed us. Give us good sex. Make sure that, like I say, don't stomach the fool, and just don't be a hellraiser. And we're gonna do what we need to do.
Man, I need to say something. And this is a good conversation. Once again, like, it goes back to understanding your value and your worth. because people take sometimes people are toxic enough, you know what I'm saying, and wicked enough to take you through things that you don't deserve to go through. You understand what I'm saying? And you know, we as men or women, because I same stories I hear from women. I mean, men, I hear the same stories with women. Like I hear stories about women in bad situations with men. You know, men that's not, you know, that's not working, not providing. Men that don't have any spirituality. Men that don't know how to listen, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, yeah, exactly. But mentally, like just broken people, like that don't like to, like men that don't like to work. You know what I'm saying? So it's like we have to understand that, like, you know, understand your worth before you get into a relationship. You know, the standard in the biblical standard for a virgin was 50 shekels of silver, right? But that's not to say that every woman costed the same amount. You know, that was just the minimum 50. It was like minimum wage kind of. That's the minimum. You know what I mean? Some daughters, like if you wanted to marry like a king's daughter, you got to come with more than 50 shekels. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, would you be like in today, men are settling for women that's not even worth 50 shekels. You know what I'm saying? So, and it's not about the woman more so physically, it's about the woman's character, her heart. Like you said, you can have a woman that that may not be as physically attractive, vice versa. You can have a man that's not as physically attractive, whatever's going on. But if the person understands their role in the assignment, right, this person can be more befitting to you than a person that's more physically attractive, but her character is not developed properly for you. You know what I mean? Maybe for the next man she might be, but understanding our value before we get into relationships is key, because if you don't, you're going to be going through something you don't deserve to go through. You know what I'm saying? So, like, yeah, praise somebody out.
And these pretty much are just things that that men should know about women that most likely a woman is not going to tell you. And a lot of the things that we talk about that apply to women they can definitely apply to men too. I'm getting ready to say something.
That I will say about some women, man, they don't be honest a lot.
I'm gonna say something that's real deep here.
Yeah.
Check this out. And this can go both ways. It can pertain to the man, but since we're talking about women, because when a man is looking for a wife, and that's how we started out with this topic, because again, it is men who decide the women that are going to get married. Right. Again, women only can decide and make a choice of who she's going to lay with, right, but men decide who gets married, right? So if a woman tells you she has options, no, she only has options, especially if she's been out there for a while. She only has options of who she's going to lay with. She don't have options of who she's going to marry, especially if a man has not asked her to marry. But I will say this, how a woman treats you, men, is a reflection of how she feels about herself. Now, I'm not going to say I've never been guilty of arguing with a woman, because, like I say, one of the things that I have to learn is more patience. But I can say if I love a woman, that woman's going to definitely know that I love her. You see what I'm saying? Because that's just who I am. I'm not going to do some certain things. I'm not just going to treat that woman any kind of a way. The worst thing that a woman is going to get out of me is an argument. And I'm going to tell you, I am at a point in my life, because life experiences teach you. You'll never win an argument with a woman. So men, when we argue with women, just know it's not going to turn out well, and you will never win an argument, because she'll start throwing things in your face in the argument that don't even have anything to do with why you're arguing in the first place. She'll start guilting you. She'll start insulting you. She'll start doing a lot of different things. So it's definitely not worth it. But I have to say, how a woman will treat that man is a reflection of how she feels about herself. So if you're being treated very well by a woman, she loves herself. She knows how to deal with herself. But if you're not, there's some issues there, and vice versa. Women, if a man is treating you bad, you can tell how he feels about himself, because it should be a reflection, right?
Yeah. See, a lot of people may possess knowledge. When you get out here and you get on the dating scene, don't look at what a woman knows.
Look at what she does.
Look at how she behaves while, you know what I'm saying, while in uncomfortable situations.
Especially uncomfortable.
Yeah, in uncomfortable situations, because that's gonna let you know who that woman truly is. Vice versa, when you ladies, when y'all looking for men, you have to look at that man in an uncomfortable situation, because that's the real person. That's dealing with anything, right? The measure of anything is its ability to sustain adversity, right? So don't fall too much for knowledge. Look at the wisdom in a woman. Look at the understanding in a woman. That's a whole nother discretion. Most women that have value, they're not very boisterous. There should be already, sometimes there has to be a red flag for boisterous women, and you have to really have spiritual eyes to be able to see it. But most women that have wisdom, they're very modest. Even if they're beautiful, they behave in a modest way, right? You look at a lot of these entertainers, the Megs, the Stallions, the Cardis, the Sexy Red. What is the number one thing that they all got in common? They boisterous. And they boisterous in their foolishness. So I don't want to be in a relationship with somebody who's boisterous, because I'm not boisterous. That's not my style. I'm quiet, laid back, listening, right? That's the type of woman I want in terms of communication style. Now, if I'm loud and I like talking, that's the type of person I need. You know what I'm saying? Because you want to get somebody that's like you. In often cases, praise the Maria.
Read some of these.
They going crazy in the comments. I'm over here laughing, man.
Can you run it back?
Yeah. You want me running from the top?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
I'm slow. I can't keep up with him.
Y'all Shabon, he said, "What's up, bro?" He tapping in. He was the one that asked about the watching pornography.
Okay.
He said, if I wasn't single, I would be watching it. I tried being celibate, but it didn't work. Where do I find a wife if there are none who follow the Holy One and Him only?
Well, let me tell you this here. Keep your search.
I hope I was heard thus far. A man's provisions is specifically for his wife and his family, period. Not his girlfriend. There's nowhere in the scriptures, Old or New Testament, where the Almighty talks about go find yourself a girlfriend and provide for her. That's an abomination. The Almighty didn't want us out making whores out of the daughters, nor did He want the men to go around being whoremongers. Now, a lot of people don't even understand what a whore is, and I'm going to use the word in the biblical sense. A whore meaning any woman who lies with a man that is not her husband. So if a woman has only been with one man in her lifetime, right? And she's been with this man 5, 6, 7, 10 years. She's just been this man's whore. Now, I'm not saying this to be offensive by any means. I'm trying to make sure that we're all on the same page and we understand according to the Most High Yah's word. Because again, Amos, the 3rd chapter, the 3rd verse, again reads, can two walk together unless they be agreed? We can't walk with the Almighty hoping for His blessings if we're not in agreement with Him. In other words, if He said, I need you to do this, And if you do the opposite, it's wickedness, it's unrighteousness. But we tend to keep doing the same thing. Our sins are presumptuous, meaning we know exactly what we're doing. And because we know better, don't mean necessarily that we're going to do better. People saying, I'm enjoying the benefits that I'm getting from her, even though I know I'm going against the Almighty Yah's word. And we got a lot of Israelites that are in that predicament right now, know they're in that predicament and don't care. Because when we care, then we do something about it. Moray Dan said this long time ago to me. I had already knew I wanted to marry my wife, but what he said expedited the situation. And by the way, I married my wife about 7 months after I actually met her. But I was being intimate with this woman, and we had not yet been married. And I heard Moray Dan, even though I already knew, but this is what kicked me in the pants and made me expedite that situation. He said, if you love a woman, he was teaching, he said, if you love a woman and you're being intimate with her, why would you put her in harm's way of the Almighty for a few moments of pleasure? You know, Moray Dan, he made that time of pleasure real short. He said for a few moments of pleasure. And so I immediately thought to myself, oh, I'm supposed to hear this. See, I don't run from the truth because I already knew that I was not being right. And when you want to be right, but you find yourself in a situation where you know you're not right, when you hear somebody, I just hearkened at that moment. So I went to the Moray and said I wanted to go ahead and get married. It was Ezekiel. And he said, how long you been knowing her? I said, about 3 or 4 months. He said, I should wait. I said, how much longer? He told me about 3 months. 3 months from that date, I married that woman because I cared enough about her and myself to do right instead of continue being in my rebellion.
Now, do you think that was the best thing to do?
Well,
Considering
actually,
the fact that,
yeah, people gonna go through the ups and downs, but I absolutely believe that was the right thing to do because a lot of times people will lay with a woman, men will lay with a woman, probably don't even know her that well, end up getting that woman pregnant, make a
current
baby.
wife, my bad. Was that your current wife? That story you was talking about, or
The one just now?
Yeah.
That's the woman that I'm married to today.
Okay, my bad. I thought you was talking about something.
Yeah, that's the woman that I'm married to today. And so, and yeah,
so disregard that. I didn't know. I thought you were talking about a previous.
And I've been married before. Matter of fact, this is my 4th marriage, and it's like I know I'm a good guy. I ain't gonna say I'm a perfect guy, like I just said. A perfect marriage is 2 imperfect people that's not willing to give up on one another. Okay. So if you have any issues, first of all, if you lay with a woman, at least be familiar with this woman and her ways. And ladies, if you marry a man, be familiar with him and his ways. And if there's things that you know that's going to come up, but you're willing to work those things out to both of you, then go ahead, because the bottom line is we're not going to find someone that's perfect. We may find someone that's perfect for us, but we're not going to find anyone that's perfect. Even ourselves, if we're honest with self, we're going to have to be honest to say, I'm not perfect. I'm imperfect. I have my flaws, but I'm also willing to work on my flaws. But understand, when we work on our flaws, that's a lifetime effort. You never get done. Because ladies, if I'm going to lie to myself, I'm definitely going to lie to you. I have to be a man of honor who's willing to be truthful with myself. Remember, the way a man treats a woman is a reflection of who he is, and vice versa. The way a woman treats a man is a reflection of who she is. And we all have experienced trauma. We all know that we have work to do, but very few are willing to put in the work. So if we want to have good outcomes in our relationships, it's imperative that we work on self so that we can walk in the way of the Most High Yah, so that we can receive his blessings. Because we have to remember, it's he that wakes us up in the morning and he who lets us rest at night. Is he the one who gives us blessings? Now, we might get the blessings by way of another individual, but the Almighty sends that individual to bless you, or he'll just do some things to make those blessings just rain on us. Now, we have to decide, what do we want? Do we want the goodness, or do we want to just keep bumping our heads?
Another question that was out there. Do y'all think, this is my brother, he asked, do y'all, Mike, do y'all think marriage is still worth doing with divorce rates being so high? And I pulled up the statistics on black divorce rate. It's 30.8 per 1,000 married individuals. It says that we have the highest divorce rate among all racial groups. In comparison to whites, we have double the divorce rates.
Let me
What's
speak
your
on
thoughts
that.
on that?
I'll speak on that. I did the stats on that myself. And ladies, I'm going to put the facts out there. You can do your own research. Don't get mad at me. I'm just the messenger. We all know how the people are, right? I love our women, but our women can, in fact, be very difficult. That's not to say that we don't have some difficult men, but I'm talking about the ladies right now. So don't get offended, because I'm talking about a man trying to choose a wife. So it's imperative that we know this information. I believe, I may be off slightly, but I believe the last time I checked wasn't that too long ago. The divorce rate, our black women divorce at a higher rate than any other nationality. I believe that rate was 38 point something percent higher than any other nationality. But the black woman, unfortunately, is the least desired by all other nationalities. And divorces are 70 to 90% initiated by women. So a man has a whole lot to lose, But the best thing that I can say is, to answer that question, do y'all think that marriage is still worth doing, knowing that the divorce rates are being so high? I would actually have to say that you have to be very, very careful in these days on who you marry. I'm going to make a statement. Like I say, I've been married 4 times. I'm an old man. And I will tell you this, prior to getting married, and most men will agree to this, most of them, even black, white, most of them going to agree to this, that before you got married, you got plenty of sex. Once you got married, the sex started slowing down. You still had a lot of sex, but then it starts slowing down for whatever reason. We know those reasons. In some cases, to be honest, those women get comfortable. They've already secured that marriage. Now, I'm not trying to be negative about anyone, because like I say, I totally believe in marriage. I'm still very much in love with my wife. So I would rather get somebody that we know we understand one another, and we're willing to work things out with one another. While I'm talking, look up that word loyalty, or loyal for me. Look up that word loyal. But here's the thing. If you get someone and they are not committed to the relationship, you don't want them to be just committed to the provisions, because there's the difference. Because sometimes a man will go in and elevate a woman's lifestyle. Do you see what I'm saying? She may be more into the lifestyle and the privileges of being married to that individual based on what he can provide, even more so than the man. You need to make sure that if you are in a situation where if you lost everything, that woman still wants to be with you because of who you are and the fact that you're a good leader as well. You should never have a woman that's fighting you for leadership of that relationship. She needs to understand that when she gets married, she has a position as a helpmate, meaning, I'm going to say this, ladies, and I know some ain't going to like it. You should be ready to receive instruction from your husband so that you can learn what it is that he needs you to do to be his helpmate. You can't just come into a relationship or to that marriage feeling like, well, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, because that might not be what he needs you to do. You see what I'm saying? Now you can do those other things like making sure that he always have fresh socks, fresh underwear, and that favorite toothpaste that he like, and all those other things. Because ladies, y'all really good at that. You really are. You're good at a lot of things. So please don't misunderstand anything I'm saying. I'm just talking about for the sake of the relationship. Understand that if you choose him to lead, don't try to take over. Stay in your feminine, in your femininity. You see what I'm saying? Let him be the dominant. He's the masculine one. And I guarantee you, if you just do that, if this man is able, I guarantee you get everything that you want and more. Guarantee it. Because that man is going to recognize that, and he's going to go out of his way to make sure that you're okay. I promise you. Especially if he has the resources. And if he don't, I promise you, he's definitely going to be the type of person who's going to work on it because he's going to want to provide because he know he has an asset and not a liability.
Hallelujah.
Give that definition of loyal so people understand that I'm talking about. That don't just mean that you're not going to cheat on them. You with that individual till the wheels fall off. In other words, whatever issues you come up against, you're going to work them out together. Read that for me.
The state of or quality of being loyal, faithfulness to commitments or obligations. So let me look up loyal.
Yeah, that's what I want to look at, Lord. Yeah, see, we want to help relationships to prosper. I promise you, I am not one who somebody might say, well, he just don't like women. I love women, especially our black women. Our black women, the Almighty made just like himself in that design. He made us like him with the nappy hair and the beautiful skin and everything. But a lot of times we have to learn how to love ourselves because we've been taught that white is power. And our black women have been taught that white women are the essence of beauty. No. If I cut my skin open, I'm gonna see the whiteness inside of it. That means they've been born with their skin half consumed. Period. But loyal.
Giving or showing firm and constant support or allegiance to a person or institution.
One more time, just to make sure they got it.
Giving or showing firm and constant support or allegiance to a person or institution.
Giving. Strong allegiance. In other words, hey, I ain't backing off. This is like King David told Uriah, hey, go on down there and sleep with your wife. Uriah like, I'm saying right here. I ain't going nowhere.
Yeah.
So we have to be that way, knowing that if we have bumps or bruises or hurdles or whatever comes our way, if we're committed, like I said before. I believe it's in the book of Ecclesiastes. I might be wrong. A lot of times people, they write vows and they give vows. And y'all might say, hey, don't make a vow to me and don't pay it. You do that, hey, I don't want to hear that it's a mistake. I destroy the works of your hands. So we don't want to tempt the Almighty. We don't want to say after we made vows and when we knew that we didn't have to, and then break those vows. We break those vows like we break the Most High's laws. And we do it knowing that we're breaking the laws based on the way we feel. Again, women, type in if I'm right. You pretty much live on your emotions, right? And we understand that. And men should be in their logic. That's the reason I would say that the Almighty put that man as the head of the relationship. And he told that to the woman. Genesis, the 3rd chapter, the 16th verse. I don't need to go there. But if y'all think that I'm just making stuff up, you can go there and check it out. So when women call themselves trying to overturn the patriarchy, which was, if you want to call it a patriarchy anyway, that comes from the Most High Yah. See, and so when the feminist movement was in there and they wanted to be equal to a man, just understand that the Almighty Yah's design of a woman was not to be equal to a man. She was supposed to compliment that man, to be a helpmate for that man, to be a life partner for that man. She was designed and made to be a wife and follow that man's program, follow his lead. But I have to say it that marriage has been so commercialized today that it's not what it was designed originally to be. Marriage has never been a partnership. I'm not trying to poop on nobody's marriage, but understand that it's never been designed to be a partnership. If the husband says yes and the woman says no, then they're at a stalemate when it's a partnership. You see, that's not the way that it's supposed to be. So we can only try to encourage that people make sure that they're equally yoked before they put their hand in marriage. And ladies, when you're searching out a man, don't just say you'll marry him because you think he's handsome. Handsome ain't never paid no bills. And men, don't just look at a woman because you think she's beautiful. Beauty ain't never helped you out either. Do you see what I'm saying now? I ain't saying you got to go get someone that's hard to look at, that's hard on the eyes. I'm not saying that at all. But find someone that loves you, that cares about you. You see what I'm saying? And know that they're not going to go anywhere. They're loyal to you. See, for me, that beauty comes from the inside out. So it's okay to have somebody that may look average, but I guarantee you she's going to be unique to you. I guarantee it. Remember, the way a person treats you is a reflection of who they are, whether it's male or female, right? So if a woman treats her man good, she loves herself. And she's going to be looking for that same type of treatment back. In other words, just reciprocating that good energy coming back. And sometimes we have to learn how to give that good energy because, like I say, most of us have been damaged and still are damaged goods. But we have to recognize that so that we can be better for self. And if we can be better for self, then some of that can flow off onto our partners, right? Or to our better half, as we want to call them, or to our wives, or to our husbands.
Praise Maria.
That was the last comment up there?
Yeah, yup. Do y'all think marriage is still worth doing with divorce rates being so high? My man up here, he had me weak earlier. He said, when I said I had physical scars, he said physical scar. He said, oh, heck nah. She's getting pounded if she touched me and I'm, he said something crazy. He said, I meant to say, not in the bedroom. She's getting hit with these lefts and rights. Nobody touches me. I don't care if it's man, woman. And look, I feel you, bro. But at the end of the day, you know, the Almighty said through His servant Solomon, it's a glory for a man to pass over a transgression. You know, we don't want to be out here beating our women, man. You know what I'm saying? You could take a shot. You know what I mean? That's what I had to do. That I took a shot. You know what I mean? But you know, because we can make a situation worse with our anger. Especially as men, you know, and as black men, you know, you don't want to be out here beating on your woman and getting DV cases and all of that.
You don't even really want to argue with them. And I've been guilty of arguing with my wife, but it's non-productive.
Right.
It's non-productive. Yeah. And I'm committed.
Very non-productive.
Yeah. And I'm committed at this point, never to. And see, this is a test because I'm one who've always said for quite some time now, even though I think that I have a lot of patience with certain things, I just do not, and I have to be honest, but I'm committed to not arguing. I'm definitely committed to not arguing in my personal life because I don't argue with my friends.
It's a waste of time.
You see what I'm saying? I'm not going to argue anymore with my wife. I'm committed to that. Period.
I love that.
Hallelujah. So listen, if there's no other questions, comments, complaints,
Right.
then what we're going to have to do is say we will come back with you in 2 weeks when we do our podcast again, because we operate every other week. It's always a pleasure to sit before the Most High Yah's people and try to encourage marriage. So to answer your question again to my brother, Yes, if you can find someone that's perfect for you, not saying that they're going to be perfect, because you might be the one that's just perfect for them, not that you're perfect. Remember, I said marriage is merely two imperfect people that's not willing to give up on one another. And they join themselves together in marriage and say they're going to work through whatever they need to work through, because they're going to be loyal to one another. So that's the reason it's always a great idea to vet the individual that you want to join with in the marriage. Just make sure they're vetted really good. She's gonna vet you, and you're gonna vet her. You say you don't know where to find a wife. Well, let me tell you, every woman is not wifey material, and every man is not husband material. You can tell by a person's natural conversation if they're a good individual or if they're a vain person and not what you might be looking for in marriage. You can talk to a person and then ask them what they're actually looking for. If you think that it's someone that you might be interested in, just talk to them about what's their idea of marriage and find out what she believes that the roles of a wife is in marriage. And ask her, is she the type of woman that's scared off easily, like, well, arguments or whatever, have her going and leaving? Or is she the type of person that's going to stand firm and be there? Is she, in fact, loyal, understanding what loyal is? So there's ways to get around to finding out if she's good enough for you. But you probably want to vet a person for at least, I would say, a minimum of at least 6 months, because sometimes, unfortunately, men and women send a representative to the encounter. In other words, he's not showing who he really is, and she may not be showing who she really is. But after a while, if they're playing games, then they're going to get comfortable, and the other individual is going to see exactly who they're dealing with. That way, you can go ahead and not go through with the thing before it's too late. But nothing's guaranteed. Do you understand? And our whole life is a chance. And a lot of times you got to remember, we're going to get what we put out. So if you've done a lot of people wrong, whether you're male or female, and you've been entertaining other relationships and you just wasn't right, don't be surprised if you end up in a relationship and it comes right back to you, because that could very well happen. So we should all be encouraged to be the best individual that we could actually be, because that's actually who we're supposed to be. We're supposed to love one another. We're supposed to even treat our enemies well. Do you see what I'm saying? And a lot of times we fall out with one another because we don't like the way a person look. We don't like the way they walk or chew or talk or whatever. We just don't like them because we just don't want to like them. And what kind of sense does that really make? The poor oppressing the poor. So I don't want to belong this podcast here. It's always my pleasure to come out and speak on these things. And we invite questions that pertains to the topic. We definitely invite your questions. So if you're here on the next podcast in a couple of weeks when we're talking about marriage and relationships in marriage, please write those questions down so you remember to ask them. And we're going to answer those questions. All right? Until next time, we're going to say,
Shalom.
praise the Most High Yah. Shalom, shalom.
Hallelujah.